Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a tutorial. This is a get ready with me for this look that I created that is perfect for the spring and summer. I typically don't wear color and you guys know that, but you're always asking me to step out of my comfort zone and create more colorful looks, and I absolutely love how it came out. And the best thing about this look is that it's super easy. Like, I only used 2 eyeshadows and 1 glitter. I am partnering with Juvia's Place for this video, so thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. So for this look, I used the Culture collection, which was created as an ode to the vibrant colors of African culture. The Culture collection includes this palette, which is their largest, most vibrant palette. Honestly, when you look at this palette, there are just so many beautiful colors. There's literally 6 completely different looks if you just look at it row by row. But of course, you can mix and match. You can create a look with blue and orange and green and pink. And what I love about these eyeshadows is that they're vibrant and pigmented and so colorful, but easy to blend. The color that stood out to me the most, like the color that when I instantly opened this palette I wanted to use, is Afrobeats, which is this really unique like minty aqua blue. So I ended up using this minty shade as well as this really beautiful electric blue, but I definitely want to create more looks using this palette. I totally see myself using these orange tones for spring and summer. The pinks are gorgeous. There's just so many different color stories here that you can play with. You could also use this palette in conjunction with a neutral palette and just use one of these shades as a pop of color, whether you're doing it underneath your waterline or in the inner corner. So this is the eyeshadow palette and I absolutely love. You do have some neutral shades, so you can use this for like an everyday look, especially this like really pretty medium tone brown, this really pretty like burnt orange shade for the crease. If you want something more neutral but you still want to use shimmer, it also has this really gorgeous champagne kind of like nude shade. You have some pinks. I mean, you get the picture. This is the look that I came up with. Of course, you can tone it down with no lashes or smaller lashes, but of course I wanted to go with some bold lashes because I'm all about the glam. And I also used one of their duochrome liquid eyeshadows. There's 4 in the collection. I used the shade Fula. These look one way in the packaging, but they swatch so insane because they're duochrome. So it looks one way when you're looking at it straight on, but when you shift, it kind of changes colors. So this one, when you look at it in the tube, it just, you know, it has like some reflex. It looks like it would be like a silver white kind of shade, but it has a ton of blue and purple to it. So I decided to use this in my inner corner just a little bit to give it a little bit more of like that glam, but you totally can make this an all matte look. So there's Fula, which has like that white slash blue duochrome, this gorgeous like burnt orange shade, and that one is called Kente. There's this like reddish copper tone shade, which is called Afrochella, and then this green, which I also really want to use. This one's called Ankara. They all have that like unique twist to them, and they're all very gorgeous duochrome, very pigmented. You can honestly just use these on your lid if you want to. Super fun and easy to use. Honestly, it felt really fun to step out of my comfort zone and do something different for you guys. I know you guys are always asking me to wear colors, so I'm definitely inspired now to do a green, a purple, as well as an orange. I kind of want to make that a thing. So I started off with blue, which I don't think I've ever worn blue eyeshadow like all over my lid on my channel, and I love how it turned out. I feel really good and really confident. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you'd like to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. So jumping right into the tutorial, I'm using the Culture palette by Juvia's Place, and the main color that I'm using today is Afrobeats. You can definitely substitute it for any color. This look is very like monochromatic and simple. I'm literally using 1 shade all over the lid and in the crease. So I'm taking a nice fluffy brush and just diffusing that and making sure that I'm not bringing that blue too high because I didn't want the blue to start touching my brow bone. So I'm kind of stopping at my crease, and I'm using also a brush that has no product on it to make sure that it's diffused and blended, and then switching over to a packing brush to really get that pigment deposited onto the lid. So once I was happy with the pigmentation, I moved on to a liner, and I'm actually using the shade Shekere to create a wing. So I wet my brush just using a setting spray, and I'm using an angled brush to create this wing. I didn't want to do like the traditional black that I always do, and I just wanted it to be again like a monochromatic blue look. And then again going back in and making sure that everything's blended, but not bringing it up too high so that it doesn't reach my brow bone. For my inner corner, like that pop, I wanted something with a little bit of glitter and glam, so I used the Juvia's Place Fula Duochrome, and this is beautiful. I really want to use this like all over the lid, but I just decided to keep it in the inner corner because I wanted the lids to be matte. I cleaned up the shadow with a makeup wipe and then applied some mascara before applying my falsies. Just 1 coat is enough. And I did go with a very glam, bold lash. And the trick to this without having black liner is to really make sure that you're pinching it and getting the lash as close to the base as possible. So I like to use my finger as well as an applicator to really get that lash and wiggle it in and pinch it with my natural lashes. For foundation, I went in with something a little bit darker than my skin color just to bring some color back to my face, because as you can see, I'm losing a lot of the tan that I had going on. And I'm using a foundation brush first to apply the color, and then a beauty blender in my more dry areas. This is kind of my technique because the brush just doesn't work well on my nose. So I kind of use a brush and a beauty blender. I went in with my concealer under my eyes. I just used one because I didn't want to go too crazy with like the under eye brightness, but this one covers really, really well. So just went ahead and blended that with my damp beauty blender. And with that same beauty blender, I went ahead and packed on a translucent setting powder. So I used 2 shades. I used a translucent and a banana, and I mixed them together. And I actually just set my whole face with that same sponge. So here you can see I'm kind of just like pressing it in and leaving a little bit on, kind of like a baking technique, just to ensure that my makeup will last all day and all night. And then I went ahead and brushed my brows and did my normal brow routine, which is just a medium brown brow pencil. And I just kind of lightly filled them in. I didn't want them to be too dark because the focus is the eyes with this look. I did my contouring and bronzing. I really wanted to give my face some definition and make the cheekbones pop out. So, you know, the normal colors that I always use, something warm tone all over, pretty much on the forehead, on my cheekbones. And I also brought that same blue underneath my eyes just to tie the look together. I just really love smoking out my lower lash line with whatever color that I have on my lid. I like to bring it underneath as well. I did use a black liner. I contemplated using a blue, but I wanted my eyes to stand out, so I went with black. But you can definitely use blue. I think blue would look really nice as well. So I used the same 2 shades that I used on my lid underneath my eye. I just feel like that looks really cohesive and, again, like monochromatic. So I applied some lower lash mascara. I really wanted my eyes to look big and bold and almost like doll-like. So I really focused on getting those lower lashes like nice and long and separated. And then I applied my brow gel. As you can see, I do my makeup in kind of like sections, and I always go back to things. It's just what works for me. For blush, I didn't want anything too pink or too coral. I wanted something kind of like a muted peachy pink, something kind of like my skin tone. Nothing too bright, again, because the eyes are already doing a lot, so we don't need to do the most with our blush. But yeah, I just decided to go matte as well. For my lips, the usual, a nice like cool toned brown first, just to give my lips definition. I love overlining, so I'm using something a little bit darker and I'm gonna blend it out. So just using a darker brown to really give my lips that definition and make them look juicy. And then of course a nude. I mean, you could go really bold and do like a bright color lip, but you already know I was gonna stick to a nude. I'm going ahead and just like wiping away and kind of packing whatever was left from that powder that I had that was kind of baking underneath my eye as well as on my nose in my more oily areas. And I also used a little bit of like a brightening powder. So I kind of wipe but also press in a powder. I've talked about that technique before, but it just gives me like the best, most flawless under eye. And then of course I applied some gloss, nothing too pigmented. This is like just like a light baby pink. And I love that, just like kind of gives like a milky, juicy lip look. Of course, I had to do my nose contour, and I really liked how my nose contour came out. I don't know, I really took my time with it. I went ahead and made sure everything was blended, seamless. We don't have any lines with a brush that didn't have any product. And I didn't go too crazy with the glow, just a little bit on my cheeks, above my brow, and of course, some nose highlight because that's my favorite. And then I decided to let down my hair to see how the look is coming out. I like to do this, you know, gauge where I'm at, what do I need. So I added a little bit more of the same colors that I had. I kind of just defined everything and went back in and made sure that everything was as pigmented as I'd like it to be. So once I'm done with the whole look, I like to reinforce all of that pigment. So just repeating the same steps. I'm not changing anything, just going over it because some of it kind of comes off when you're doing your face makeup. But that's pretty much the entire look. I hope you guys enjoyed this, me stepping out of my comfort zone. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.